Whenever you hear Donald Trump or any right-wing Republicans talking about the U.S. Department of Education, I hope you'll remember just one thing. Everything they're saying is a scam. Really. In the past several years, Republicans have been making increasingly wild claims about what the Department of Education does. And now, President Trump is following through and actually trying to shut it down. It is a scam. And all you need in order to know that this is true is to look at some basic facts. That's what Washington Monthly contributing editor Ann Kim does in this video. So here's 5 minutes from Ann that expose the great Republican education scam.
Donald Trump has called the Department of Education a con job and wants to shut it down.
How soon do you want the Department of Education to be closed?
Oh, I'd like it to be closed immediately. Look, the Department of Education's a big con job.
Elon Musk has already taken a whack, and now Trump's new Secretary of Education, wrestling executive Linda McMahon, is working to dismantle the department she's been appointed to run. So what exactly does the Department of Education do? Well, let's talk first about what the department does not do. Most importantly, the Department of Education does not tell teachers in schools what to teach or how to teach it. There is no national curriculum, so the Department of Education can't tell schools to teach algebra, let alone critical race theory or anything else. So when you hear conservatives talking about giving education back to the states, it's a little bit weird because states actually have control of education already. The Department of Education does 4 things, all of which help to get your kids the education they deserve. Number 1, it helps to fund schools. Number 2, it helps kids pay for college through grants and loans. Number 3, it enforces civil rights like Title IX for girls' sports. And number 4, it collects data on the quality of education kids are getting so you know that they're learning. Number 1, funding schools. More than 90% of school funding comes from state and local property taxes, but many schools also get funding under 2 federal laws, Title I of the Elementary and Secondary Education Act and the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, or IDEA. The Department of Education manages the funding from these 2 programs. Title I primarily benefits schools with large shares of low-income students, but in 2024, 63% of public schools are eligible for Title I money. Last year, Title I funds totaled $18.4 billion. For schools in low-income areas where property taxes don't bring in much revenue, this money helps make up the difference so kids get a fair shot at a decent education. IDEA helps pay for special education. So if your child has ADHD and needs accommodations, IDEA helps fund that support. The federal government spent about $15 billion for kids with disabilities in 2024, who make up about 15% of students in public schools. Number 2, paying for college. The Department of Education does this in 2 ways. First, it manages the federal student loan program. About half of high school seniors fill out the free application for federal student aid, or the FAFSA, every year. About 28% of undergraduates depend upon federal student loans to make college affordable. Currently, the Department of Education manages nearly $1.5 trillion in loans for more than 40 million students. The Department of Education also manages about $33 billion in Pell Grants for low and moderate income students. These grants help support nearly 1/3 of all undergraduates. Number 3, enforcing civil rights. Federal law entitles kids to equal access to education. It also prohibits discrimination based on sex, race, national origin, age, and disability. If your child has a disability but isn't getting the accommodations they need, the Department of Education's Office of Civil Rights will enforce their rights. You may also have heard of Title IX, which guarantees that girls have equal access to sports as boys. If there's a boys' basketball team, there should be a girls' team too. And the treatment should be about the same. But you might be surprised at how much disparity there still is. In one Oregon school district, for example, parents complained that the boys' softball team got better dugouts, equipment, storage, and coaching, while the girls' team did not. In 2023, the Office of Civil Rights fielded more than 19,000 complaints. Number 4, collecting data. You may have heard, for example, about the nation's report card, which tracks how kids are doing in math, science, and reading as 4th graders, 8th graders, and as seniors. It's the best data we have on whether kids are learning. The Department of Education also runs the college scorecard, which can help you decide which schools are worth the money and which are not. Trump and Elon Musk claim that the Department of Education is inefficient and gives too much power to the federal government. That simply isn't true. The GOP's real agenda is to cut federal funding for public education. Even before the election, House Republicans passed dramatic cuts to Title I. Now, Musk and Doge have gutted data collection and research. Republicans in Congress also want to cut student loans to pay for Trump's tax cuts. Project 2025, that's the extremist blueprint for Trump's second term, even calls for the elimination of Title I altogether. This would have catastrophic impacts for low-income kids, and it could also mean that 180,000 teachers nationwide lose their jobs. The nation's first Department of Education was actually established in 1867 under President Andrew Johnson, but it only lasted a year because Southern states associated it with Reconstruction after the Civil War, and they didn't like the idea of the federal government encouraging education for people who had been formerly enslaved. It wasn't until 1979 that President Jimmy Carter asked Congress to establish a Department of Education, the one that we have today. Carter wanted to elevate the Department of Education to a cabinet-level office to show his support for education as a national priority. But he also, get this, wanted to make government more efficient by bringing together in one agency a slew of different programs that had been scattered across the government. Ending the Department of Education will, guess what, make the government less efficient and diminish the quality of education your kids get. So when Donald Trump says that the Department of Education is a con, the only real con is the one he's trying to pull on you, the American taxpayer, and on American students. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.